Welcome to another Backyard Professor Responds video. Today, something interesting happened. There was a congressional briefing, and I think we need to call it a briefing. I mean, obviously, it wasn't a skiff, it was televised, and it wasn't really a hearing as such. But a lot of the big names in ufology, I believe we call it ufology, a lot of the big names were there. Lou Elizondo basically conducted it, Avi Loeb, Congresswoman Luna, we had Chris Mellon, just Eric, I can't think of your last name. I had a brain fart. I hate it when I get brain farts. I get them every time. A lot of big names and a lot of discussion. I was a little amazed at the vehement negativity in the chat. It was a live stream. Patrick from Vetted very kindly shared this with us. Now, I wasn't able to stay for the whole thing. I got bits and pieces. I had to come and go and come and go. And something dawned on me when I listened to Richard Dolan's discussion of Malmgren on Jesse Michaels, on Harold Malmgren. Something he said. I have a clip of Dolan I would like to share with you because it is very important for the context. This briefing was quite extraordinary. And I really enjoyed the fact that Patrick gave me a shout out. And I know the principle of patting yourself on the back and congratulating yourself is not a good one to produce, but I am going to produce this because I think Patrick's coming of age. I like his program. I do. I realize he's had ups and downs. I'm well aware of that. I've watched many, many, many of his videos. I mean, the guy is informed and he steadily, consistently tries to bring out information, vetting whether evidence is good enough or not. He is mildly skeptical. Some evidences really do convince him. He reminds me of me. I actually had someone early on say, hey, my friend Patrick at Vetted, you and he ought to do some shows together because you remind me a lot of him. And it's not that we want to be debunkers, and it's not that we want to be full-blown enthusiasts exaggerating the significance of the evidence. Look, if the evidence is good, we'll say so. And with the idea that if it really turned out to where it wasn't good, and I have had this experience on my channel, then I said early on, I reserve the right to change my mind based on analysis and evidence, without question. And yes, we both have gotten frustrated at times in the past. Not like the sneezing monkey, though. That man is hilarious. He will crucify you if you present stupid evidence out there. If you claim you've got good UFO evidence, show it, but make sure it's good UFO evidence. Very little gets by the sneezing monkey. He's a hoot. Oh, every time I need a laugh, he's hilarious. When I debunk, I'm way too serious and angry and mad, but we do want to have good evidence. We want to see what's real. And if you're making out of this world claims, which many UFO people who show videos or pictures are making that kind of claim, well, then you've got to really have solid evidence. Let me share something that Patrick said that embarrassed me, and I'm very grateful to him for doing this. Thank you, Patrick. You're very kind. You really are very kind. You're a good man. I like you. I can't help it. I like your show. I can't help it.
Oh, y'all, Backyard Professor, what's up? Patrick, you're inspired us all. You inspire, my man. Great channel. If y'all don't know, go check out the Backyard Professor's YouTube channel. Great stuff. Great guy. Really appreciate everything he brings to this topic as well. Be a great guy to have a beer with, for sure.
And I wanted to share that because I'm here to tell you, Patrick, when we get together, the beer is on me, my friend. I would love to have a beer with you and chit chat and talk. That would be awesome. Fun stuff. The hearing has been recorded. It is on Patrick's channel. I will leave a link to that. It was a fairly long, and I agree, you know, for a briefing, a congressional briefing, it was a little iffy. It was the sound for the first, 10, 15, 20 minutes was horrible. I even made a comment in the chat, said hi to all my friends there. There were many of us who were talking. That was kind of fun. But yeah, and then the camera work, not the best. I wish it would have been better. They had slides. I was told later, I came back after a particular discussion by Chris Mellon, or one of them, who apparently did a bang-up job with it. I'll have to go back and re-listen to it. But they had slides. It was off to the side, out of camera view. Come on. You can do better than that. But that aside, this is why this briefing is so important, because I now have a clip from another gentleman whom I consider my friend, and I don't even know him, but he is my friend. He's a fellow UFO podcaster, the world-renowned Richard Dolan, whom I respect as much, if not more, than I respect Patrick at Vetted. No offense, Patrick, but Dolan's been on this longer than you and I have been alive. Maybe not that long, but Dolan's the real cream of the crop. He is discussing the incredible interview, which I also discussed, from Jesse Michaels with Harold Malmgren. And just the first couple of minutes, his introduction, Richard gives a context that I have great evidence for, that was just given to me email today. And I'm going to share this evidence. Thank you to, who was it that sent this to me? Let's see. Hold on. I've got it right here. Oh, he doesn't list his name. It's okay. It's okay. Someone sent a document out, apparently, on UFO disclosure is upon us, and showed the extent, the overall largesse of the serious people involved with UFO disclosure and USO disclosure. I've got Dolan on the mind, and that matters. USOs are no laughing matter, man. He's not just wet behind the ears. Get it? Yeah. All right. So let me share this clip from Richard Dolan, because this also, just the way this guy can context things and the way he has so much knowledge in his head is just splendiferous. He is just magnanimous. There's the man now.
Greetings. In recent years, we have witnessed an extraordinary surge in the volume and legitimacy of information relating to UAP, once upon a time known as UFOs. This was a subject not long ago. It was relegated to the fringes of anything that we can imagine, all parts of culture, and it is now erupted into mainstream consciousness with unprecedented force, I would say. We've had congressional hearings, Pentagon reports, military whistleblowers, and so much more. It's the sheer magnitude of these developments has created a kind of information tsunami that even the most dedicated researchers are struggling to navigate, or at least I will speak for myself in that regard. I think never before have we seen such a convergence of official acknowledgement and public curiosity and fascination about this subject. So it's a flood of information that's exhilarating and a little daunting, because as the stigma is gradually eroding, bit by bit, we're finding ourselves at this pivotal moment where the pursuit of truth regarding UAP, it transcends partisan politics. We are seeing professional boundaries, national borders, and it makes the task of separating the signal from the noise that is credible evidence from unfounded rumor or speculation, what have you, more important than ever before, which is why I'm very, very glad to be talking about this new development. Are you surprised that we're having something new to talk about? I'm sure you are not. And it is about this very fascinating video from the channel of Jesse Michaels, who does so much excellent work in this space. He recently, just the other day, put out this video featuring the late Harold Malmgren.
Dolan just has such a way to give us a context with the correct words, and I 100% back him up. So when I saw that clip, I thought, well, yeah, who are these people? And it just happened that I got an email in my inbox showing who these people are. So, I mean, you know, the universe is shedding light upon me to share with you. I guess that's the mystic way to look at this, but it couldn't have been more timely. So I now wish to present to you the evidence backing up Richard Dolan's claim without question. And part of the evidence is that briefing that was held today. Let's take a look at this. Here's what we have. UFO disclosure is actually upon us. Are all these people crazy? Look, the sheer variety of people argues for its authenticity, in my opinion. Government scientific researchers. You have Jacques Vallée, CIA, NSA. You have Jay Stratton, CIA, NSA. You have Hal Puthoff, CIA, NSA. I get it that they are forbidden from disclosing some information at this point, but they are all saying it's real, it's here, and we're investigating it. And at times they get the impression that it is investigating us, especially around our nuclear facilities. So this is very interesting. So there's the government scientific researchers. There are the military. Admiral Tim Gallaudet, Luis Elizondo, an intelligence officer, David Grush, an intelligence officer, Jake Barber, an intelligence officer, Commander David Fravor, Top Gun pilot, Lieutenant Commander Alex Dietrich, U.S. Navy pilot, Lieutenant Ryan Graves, U.S. Navy pilot. I will add George Filer, who also was a U.S. Air Force pilot, though he flew the tankers that put the fuel into the jets. He as well was involved in the military and astoundingly very high up with four-star generals giving them briefings on UFOs for several years. So George Filer belongs on that list as well. With the political appointees, you have Harold Malmgren, advisor to 4 presidents, Christopher Mellon, the former Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense for Intelligence, and I would add George Filer, Major George Filer, who was a direct advisor to the 4-star general about UFOs as well, which was what I say political appointees, probably a military appointee, but Filer belongs there. And then and then we've got in the military, Admiral Tim Gallaudet, Luis Elizondo, intelligence officer, David Grush, intelligence officer, Jake Barber, intelligence officer, Commander David Fravor, Top Gun pilot, Lieutenant Commander Alex Dietrich, U.S. Navy pilot, Lieutenant Ryan Graves, U.S. Navy pilot, and again, Major George Filer, who was a United States Air Force pilot. Even though he flew the tankers that fueled the jets, he also chased the UFOs in the sky. Then the university researchers, Dr. Gary Nolan, Stanford, Dr. Avi Loeb, Harvard, Dr. Richard Dolan is a freelance independent historian. The legal is Daniel Sheehan, a constitutional and public interest lawyer, activist, educator. The Pentagon Papers, Watergate, La Pensa bombing, etc. Very, very important people. The first whistleblower, Bob Lazar, Area 51. YouTube podcasters, the Joe Rogan podcast, of course. Luis Elizondo is section 21, number 94, podcast number 2194. Ryan Graves, number 2244. Jacques Vallée, number 2288. Bob Lazar, number 1315. Let's get to this second one. Jesse Michaels, the American Alchemist podcast. This is the YouTube information that's available. You have Dr. Harold Malmgren interview, UFO whistleblower David Grush, the Lou Elizondo documentary, also James Fox documentary. And Stephen Greer had a documentary or two. UFO whistleblower, My Team Retrieved a UFO with Jake Barber. Reality Check, Ross Coulthart, News Nation, interview with Jake Barber. We have the News Nation investigation, the UFO Reporter, Part 1, the Files of George Knapp, which is absolutely incredible. We have Part 2, Inside the Files of George Knapp. Also, I will add George Filer here, the Filer Files. Many, many, many years of files on UFO stories, incidents, and experiences, and it's still going. I asked him personally, are you the one still writing these Filer Files? And he said, yes, he is doing it. He doesn't have a staff, apparently. And he has an updated file every 2 weeks, and his newest one was just a few days ago. I mean, the man is still active, and he is 89 years old. So that should be on here. Then podcast specializing in UFO news, Luis Elizondo, Vetted, Patrick Vetted was mentioned in this, and myself, the Backyard Professor. So I'm humbled and grateful to be in such an august company of UFO podcasters. I know there are other people who also do UFO news, Christian Harloff from Down to Earth News, Pavlo at Psychoactive Podcast, and many others. I can't think of all of them. There's a lot of them, but forgive me. With the movies, we have The Age of Disclosure, 40 intelligence and military whistleblowers. We have The Close Encounters of the Third Kind, Steven Spielberg, and a new movie that will be out late next year by Steven Spielberg on UFOs. We have The Adjustment Bureau. This particular chart is quite extraordinary. What we're seeing here is the category of types of UFO researchers. Government researchers, Jacques Vallée. Scientific intelligence, Jay Stratton, same thing. Hal Puthoff, same thing. All CIA, NSA. Admiral Tom Gallaudet, the military. Lou is the military. David Grush, Jake Barber, Commander David Fravor, Lieutenant Commander Alex Dietrich, Lieutenant Ryan Graves. Now, they are talking about whistleblowers and military. I am also including George Filer in this without question. And, of course, Harold Malmgren now deserves to have his place here as well. We have a political appointee, Christopher Mellon. We have university researchers, Nolan, Loeb, Dolan. We have the legal aspects of it, Danny Sheehan, who is an absolute national treasure. We have the first whistleblower, Bob Lazar. And it is growing enormously, which makes this very, very exciting for all of us, in my opinion. So the reason that I wanted to share all this with you is this has been happening. Now, of course, Fravor was back in 2004, the video, right? That didn't come out until 2017 with Lou Elizondo breaking from ATIP and coming out in the open, as it were. And now, from that point on, 2017 appears to me to be the watershed moment. From that point on, the accumulation and the growth of the data, of the experiences, of the knowledge. Now, we're not only just studying UFOs from potentially from outer space. Now, they could be from here, Earth. They could have been here for hundreds of thousands, if not millions of years, maybe subterranean. That's one of the options. But now with Dolan's new information out on USOs, he's got a 3-book series. I've got the first one. The second and third have not hit print yet. I will purchase them when I can. And I have talked about that book on my channel as well. This is a whole nother dimension of multidimensional craft, which we still can't produce right now with our technology. We cannot produce a craft that zips from 80,000 feet to eye level in 1 second and then dives under the water and keeps on going with the same speed underwater. Or that is coming in under the water at hundreds of miles an hour, hundreds of miles an hour, and just simply comes right up out of the water and keeps right on flying out there and then disappears. No, we don't have anything near that technologically advanced. So USOs have now become a much bigger category, a much more important category. As more and more, we have Admiral Gallaudet discussing, seeing craft going down into the water and coming up out of the water. So the expansion and the information is so great now at this point that we ask, what do you mean when you say you want disclosure? Here it is. All of this accumulated information is actually disclosure. We now know. We saw a live broadcast today, you guys, a briefing with Congresswoman Luna at that proceeding. We know the government is interested and looking into UFOs. We know the military has been doing it. We have Lou Elizondo, we have Major George Filer, and we now have Harold Malmgren. You can't deny the military has been in it for decades upon decades. We had 2 of the greatest veteran UFO military personnel, and I am going to be interviewing more with Major George Filer. So this is exciting. It's extremely interesting. It keeps adding to our store of knowledge. When people say, well, this is a nothing burger, the last 8 years has not been a nothing burger. It has been an expansion of information. Richard Dolan's books, Stephen Greer has been still at it. He's been at it for 30 years. Now we have Jake Barber coming out. Even though I'm disappointed with the level, the quality of his evidence, he's out there bumping the muster. You know, he's out there working. They've convinced me that I have camera equipment. I need to get out as often as I can. I'm still working full time. I can't do this full time just yet. I'm not retired yet. But when I do retire, I plan on putting a lot more time into this. In the meantime, I can share podcasts and information and news, which is what I'm doing. But I mean, it's all over the place. Lou Elizondo and his books is, I don't care if you think of them as grifters or whatever. I don't care about the label. That's irrelevant to my point I'm making. There are lots of different people, and there's so many more that we haven't mentioned. Philip J. Corso, for instance. J. Allen Hynek, for instance, 2 of them in the earlier days. Military and government, right? So this expansion, the last 8 years has not been a nothing burger. It's been an explosion of information. And that's what I wanted to present to you. And I get it. There's times when I flip back and forth. Sometimes I am so hopping mad and disgusted with the level of evidence that I take it to them as a believer. And there are other times when I am overwhelmed with the amount of information that we have. And so it's balancing with me. I want more too. I'm entirely with you. We deserve more. Well, we're getting more. When we get more, we keep making fun of it and calling it nothing burgers. Well, then quit asking for more, because we are in disclosure, but it's not by the government. And yet Congresswoman Luna was there. So it is being looked at by the government, right? So this is quite remarkable. We live in a fantastic age. I've said that in quite a few videos, and I'll stick with that. Heads up, chins up, get excited. It's for real. We're not done yet. I sincerely hope better videos can be made. I sincerely hope I can capture better videos. But I will say, honestly, my respect, my backing off and becoming a little bit more patient and empathetic and lenient rather than castigating all the time like I was doing a few months back of those who are out in the field trying to get UFO videos or pictures or whatever. My respect has gone up for them. It's not, oh, there's one. Yep, got it. Yeah, would to God it was that simple. That'd be glorious. But these cameras in these phones, you guys, they can't match my Nikon D7100 for quality. They just can't. They're not made for night, so they can't even begin to compare to my night vision binoculars. But that doesn't mean it's easier now to get the photo and the video and all. Just the other day, and I touted it on my website, I was looking so very forward to sharing the UFO hunting video that Nate and I went out to do. We were out there for 2 hours. I came back and reviewed the footage, and it was just completely wiped out by the wind. I mean, wiped out so bad you couldn't even hardly hear us talking. And I had put the camera behind the car, so as the wind was blowing over, it wasn't going to affect the camera as bad. That didn't do any difference. So 2 hours shot the heck for nothing. I couldn't share the video with you. And we had a fabulous discussion. Nate and I will do some more talking and recording and sharing of the philosophy and science and all that jazz about the UFOs with you, without question. But, and the Tedesco brothers have told me, they've said, you know, Kerry, there are many, many nights in the month when we go out for 6 to 8 hours, and they are loaded to the hilt with valid UFO equipment, and they get nothing. And I should have added them on this list without question. The Tedesco brothers belong on this list. Make no mistake about it. They are at the forefront. They are every bit as qualified and solid as Jake Barber and his team of Skywatchers, if not better. I'm not trying to compare and put him in the hierarchy of this is the top dog, then second and third. The hierarchy is not nearly as important at all at this stage in the game as to know that it's pretty damn cool that there are so many of us trying to get out there to get the data, because you got to have the data to study the phenomenon. That's really cool. That's new. People weren't out scientifically, systematically acquiring the data as we're attempting to do now. So interesting and exciting. Time for me to display some patience and a little bit more maturity than I have in the past, although I'm reserving the right. If I blow my lid, I'm going to have a dang good reason for it. I hope I don't have to. Technically, I don't. My wife keeps telling me, dude, be the adult. Yeah, I get it. And sure, it's more entertaining, but I'm not here to entertain. I'm here to inform. I'm here to share when it really does look real, act real, and seem real. That can be pretty doggone exciting. I'm like a kid on Christmas morning when that occurs, right? We all are. We all will be. I'm leaning toward the conclusion that we really are in disclosure. I get it. It's a long, drawn-out process. Just tell us already. We're past that point, you guys. They have been telling us for a long time. We're rejecting it. And some of it's pretty dang good stuff. The actual people involved are impeccable. And they do sound like, oh, that's just a bunch of stories, but that's the context. That's vital, as I said in my interview with Major George Filer, as Jesse Michaels has said with Harold Malmgren, and Richard Dolan has followed that up, as has Patrick at Vetted, as has Christian Harloff at Down to Earth, as has Pavlo in Psychoactive, etc. There are a lot of us looking at this information all at once, and we each bring our own unique viewpoint. So I like to watch as many as I can. That's what makes this subject very valuable. We're still in school. We're still in school. And it's not a waste of time. I'm here to tell you it's not a waste of time. My life has gotten more interesting, much more interesting, a lot more fun since I jumped on this UFO bandwagon to be a podcaster of UFO stuff. I've met some fantastic people online and in real life. I'm looking forward to many more years of more of the same, of getting to know all of you and share more information with you. This is what it's all about. I feel alive. What price can you put on that? I'm not bored at all. And I am so grateful that I'm not. I feel alive. I feel vibrant when I'm exploring this topic. Whether I'm dissing some lousy evidence or looking at some new evidence or reading a fantastic new book or seeing a new briefing or a congressional hearing, etc. Yes, I've been disappointed with stuff in the past. Who of us hasn't? But I've also been thrilled with the overall general accumulation and explosion of information. And we have some dadgum great researchers out there. Congressman Burchett is another government person who has spoken out with this UFO issue. Yeah, so the government knows. And here's the kicker, so do we, for real. We already know the phenomenon's here and real. Now, what is it and all that? Well, nobody can tell us that yet. We don't have enough data. That's why it's so good to support everyone who is going out getting the data. I agree. Sometimes it doesn't fit my expectations and it does make me go, what? But that's part of the process. That's part of the excitement of the research and the adventure in ufology. I love it, man. I'm not going anywhere except up with all of you guys. So thanks for watching the Backyard Professor Responds videos. I will return as I find more information. Thank you so much. You know who you are. To the gentleman who sent me that email, absolutely perfect timing. I don't believe that was a coincidence. That was beautiful. I think you were inspired to send it just when you did. I was just getting ready to jump on this subject. You gave me the backbone of my presentation, and I am very grateful for you. Bless you. All right, I'll catch up to you guys. Have a great night.